Welcome to the senior speakers for the class of 2022. We ask that you please silence your cell phones before the event to honor today's speakers. Our first speaker today is Elise Goldstein. Elise will be introduced by Mr. Travis.
We typically hear our first speaker well before we actually see her. Rarely do I have to ask the advisor group if she's here, but instead I just listen for her coming down the hall. It is how she uses this voice to self-advocate, to cheer for her teammates, to speak up for others that I admire. She is going to speak on the value of trying new things, regardless of whether you're good at them. This idea of engaging with the world around you is one of the ways I wish I was more like her. I also wish I had a sister like Sally. wait, I take that. There are probably other ways I wish that I would like our speaker, but I'm limited in my work now. So as she is making her way to the podium, the point I want to make is to follow our speaker's lead and to put yourself in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Elise Goldstein.
Taylor Swift, as we all know, is a genius. A girl boss, actress, singer who writes all of her own songs, an entrepreneur, my best friend, and an inspiration to all. She was actually going to introduce me, but she couldn't make it due to COVID. One of the greatest lyricists of our generation, Taylor Swift constantly writes new songs that somehow relates to every situation I've ever been in. There are a number of lyrics that I could reference and how they coincide with my life, but there's one that has stuck out with me since I first heard the song. On July 23rd, 2020, Taylor Swift dropped Folklore, revealing a new side of her we have never seen before. She was more vulnerable than ever, and for me, making her all the more relatable. Mirrorball, the 6th track on Folklore, is a song about how Taylor has many different facades she shares with the world, and while they are all shiny, beautiful reflections of light, they are still fragile. While this whole song hits close to home, the specific lyric in this song that stuck out to me the most was, "But I'm still a believer and I don't know why. I've never been a natural, all I do is try, try, try." Many people may not know this about me, but I was a ballerina up until I was 14 years old. I was never naturally flexible, graceful, or strong. I am the least coordinated person I know, so I honestly applaud myself for sticking with ballet for that long. I continued to try at my dance practices, quietly focusing on the teacher and what to do with my feet and body. I desperately wanted to be good at ballet, but as I got older, the people in my class got younger. My friends were moving up levels, and I was literally so bad, and I never moved up. And I tried so hard to meet my teacher's needs and expectations to be the best dancer I could be. But with an activity like dance, sometimes trying super hard does not help, and you just kind of have to be naturally coordinated. Once I realized that my dance career was never going to take off, I searched for something new to try. My varsity soccer experience has been a bit of a failure. It probably did not help that I'm not a natural athlete, which I should have learned from ballet. And for some reason, to Sally, the funniest thing I can do is be athletic. She refuses to run next to me because I make her laugh too hard and I slow her down. I first started playing soccer freshman year, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I had the idea that I would come to the first practice having even the tiniest bit of skill. I was wrong. No matter how hard I tried, I still struggled during drills, and I would always have to be pulled aside to pass with Mr. Travis because even passing the ball was a challenge for me. Every time he would pull me out, I would timidly say, "Thank you," and then it proceeded to be yelled at by the seniors because I did not know how to do the drill or play soccer at all. I watched Ellie Scheinler, who not only had never played soccer before, but also joined late in the season just to come on the field and naturally play with skill. She moved off the bench and onto the field, growing in minutes throughout the season. I was in awe of how she was naturally good at soccer, opposed to me, who was a forward but has never scored. Now, 3 years later and 4 soccer seasons under my belt, I still have no idea what I'm doing. And I continue to try my hardest and fail at soccer. Last year, our family took a trip to San Diego. It was a very exciting trip because I went with my sister, Sally, and Jane, and we got to meet up with the Lowe family. That week, Sally, Ainsley, Finley, Jane, and I signed up for a surfing lesson. I had no idea what I was expecting, but I assumed I would be amazing at it, considering all the times I watched Soul Surfer. But alas, my lack of athletic ability did me dirty once again. Jane, Sally, and Ainsley were so skilled the minute they stepped into the water and made it look so easy. But it took me 2 days of surfing all day just to stand up once, which I barely did. At least Finley was also terrible at it. We tried so hard and ended up choking on salt water, getting whiplash by the ankle strap and drowned by our surfboards. Our perfect, talented sisters were being taken out to bigger waves while Finley and I were washed up on shore. While I may not be a natural dancer or athlete, a not so fruitless attempt in trying my best was with writing. Dr. Sowell, I know you probably have no idea what I'm talking about considering essays I've turned in this year, but I promise they could be worse. I've always loved writing. Once I get into a group, I love to sit down and write almost anything. I've never been naturally artful with my words though. I would read my peers' essays in class and be so confused on how they sat down and wrote something sounding so professional and profound. I would try so hard to write like my classmates, which ended up making my papers worse. My junior year, I had this ED, and I was worried it would be another year of trying my best on my writing assignments and still doing poorly. However, that year, I was given tools to improve my writing skills, and I continued to try my best and ended up writing some of my best essays. I did so well in that class that I was able to move up to AP English this year, which right now is another year of me trying my best on papers and still doing poorly. But I know I can improve by continuing to try my hardest. While I've never naturally been good at sports, school, or any other activities, I get most of my fulfillment from trying my hardest. I feel my best and I put my all into the things I do. Taylor Swift says, I'm still a believer, but I don't know why. I'm still a believer, but I do know why. I'm still a believer because I know that no matter what, I can confidently say, I try my hardest, and while I can't control the results, I can control how hard I work. So, in the words of the great genius Taylor Swift, I've never been a natural, all I do is try, try, try.
Our second speaker today is Kay Jones. Kay will be introduced by her brother, Dixon Jones.
Hello, my name is Dixon, and some of you may know me as Kay Jones' brother. It feels like just yesterday when Kay was starting freshman year here, and she was telling me all about how much different Cleveland High School was from anywhere else she'd gone. Now, she's a senior and I'm a sophomore. Throughout our high school years, we've grown much closer. Whether it's giving me advice on anything I need or driving me around, Kate always has my back. We've always done everything together, like going on long road trips that neither of us wanted to go on, or even going to the hospital to get stitches after she sent me there. This happened 4 times. The point is, I'm very thankful that Kate's my sister. She's a great role model, and I'm lucky to have her as my sister. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, Kate Jones.
Does this ring a bell for anyone? Let them be as flowers, always watered, fed, guarded, admired, but harnessed to a pot of dirt. I'd rather be a tall, ugly weed, hanging on cliffs like an eagle, wind wavering above high, jagged rocks. This excerpt is from a poem that is a Mr. Beasley classic, which we read in 7th grade, called Identity by Julio Noboa Polanco, about flowers and weeds. The flower is used as a metaphor that represents people who have the perfect life in their hands, whereas the weed represents those who are seen as outcasts. My life has been a series of events where I have been trying to define who I am by fitting a description of who I thought I wanted to be. I started off as a girl who sat alone on the playground, who couldn't find her people or even her place in society. All I ever wished for was to be a flower, to be admired by all, and to feel like I had a place. This dream quickly vanished after endless attempts of trying to make friends. When I would try to do things like join a game of Foursquare, I would always be turned down. I remember offering myself up to be the cat, which was the worst role in a game called House, and I was still rejected. My case only got worse when my classmates discovered my Harry Potter blog. My online persona as Harry Potter lover 416 was exposed, and I still haven't quite bounced back from this incident. I reluctantly accepted the fact that the social scene in elementary school was not for me. After the initial setback of this reality, I kept searching for my identity. I then tried to define myself as an athlete. My fixation of fitting the role of a flower required that I get involved, which led me to trying almost every sport you can imagine. My baseball career ended as soon as it began when I accidentally smacked my brother with a bat as I was swinging. After many volleyball camps and several seasons on the court, I accepted the fact that I was not coordinated enough to be a viable member of the team. Similarly, my basketball skills were not up to par, and my ratio of getting the ball to losing it to the other team was not in my favor. As much as I wish to be as flexible as the cheerleaders I had seen on TV, my legs didn't quite extend the way that they needed to, despite how much I pushed myself. Even today, as an active member of the Collegiate Amazon soccer team, I hear at least once a day that I look so cute when I get the ball. Although I appreciate the compliment, I don't want to be cute, I want to be intimidating. Athletic is not an adjective that any of my peers have used to describe me, and while I still participate in several sports, my sights in regard to how I can establish myself in society began to set elsewhere. My obsession with fitting a forced version of myself withered as I shifted my focus to becoming an entrepreneur. This newfound passion was sparked by an intriguing presentation from Kentucky's Governor School for Entrepreneurs. Now I became consumed with this fixed vision in my mind that being an entrepreneur was my destiny. I was convinced that I was going to be accepted as soon as I submitted my application, having already chosen a roommate and having brainstormed dozens of ideas for my startup. This made receiving my rejection letter from GSC on my birthday this past spring so heartbreaking. I'll never forget the moment when I opened the email and began crying so loudly in the bathroom that Brianna heard me from her math class and came in to make sure that I was okay. Although this was a low moment, I believe that my frame of mind has benefited from this experience. I realized that I was so focused on fitting the description of a flower that I completely overlooked the inner beauty of a weed. Throughout my entire life, I've been trying to force an artificial version of myself because I've put others' opinions before my own. My past judgment of weeds being outcasts was critical and incorrect. To be a weed is to be an entirely authentic individual who values independence over validation from others. The line I've wondered about for my identity is, if I could stand alone, strong and free, I'd rather be a tall, ugly weed. Which makes me question why I have to be tall and ugly in order to be strong and free. Can I be bright and beautiful while also being liberated at the same time? Thus being said, my aspiration to become a flower has not diminished. I have come to realize that I am in my own category. I am a dandelion. Dandelions are flowers and weeds. Each year, as the dandelions begin to blossom, I feel refreshed by their bright yellow petals. When I see dandelions popping up in the fields, I know that it is no longer winter and that my favorite season has arrived again. I know all of this sounds sappy, but it's true. My life is what I choose to make of it, and I've wasted enough time trying to get someone I'm not. My newfound identity as a dandelion gave me the confidence to try things that I would never dreamed of before. I'm now class president, even though I was once the girl that no one would even let play the cat. My 17-year-old self is now appreciative that my 10-year-old self had to sit by herself at recess. The realization of my self-worth has resulted from this experience, and I'm now truly proud to say that I'm both a flower and a weed. I've learned to accept who I am and can now unapologetically be myself. Rejection builds me up instead of tears me down, and it has taken these negative experiences to grow to love myself and not only be comfortable but confident in my own skin. I am Kate Jones, and I am a dandelion. Thank
A fantastic start to our senior speeches. Let's give Kate and Elise another round of applause. Seniors, don't forget about your date with your first grade buddies at 12:10. And we'll go ahead and let you all be dismissed. Have a great day.
Kate, that was so good.
Let's end this.
There's 3 people watching. Yeah. Just
End it.
like
I'll figure it out.
Wait, is this like running the thing?
Yep, it's live.
Maybe just like close the tab?
I'll wait for Mr. Davis. Scarehan, what do I do with that? I just close it? Turn it off?
Yeah, just so done.
Thank you.